tell us a joke about a designer, a developer, and what's that one?
An engineer.
An engineer, okay. Walking into a bar. Give a round of applause to Gabriela, and we'll look forward to the
I think I'm the only one who has not a computer science background, and I'm going to explain to you now what kind of problem you have. So that so.
Not sure if this is working.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine over here. How is it in the back?
It's working. It's working quietly.
So, at our startup, our mission is to represent key information about software. Today, I will share with you how our team went about showing this highly abstract information. To do that, I have a 5-point agenda. First, I share with you an analogy. Software is like Smarties ice cream. Then I share with you who we are and our solution. And then the majority of my time I spend on our approach. And I will end my presentation with our learnings along the way. So now let me start with my first point. Smarties or software is like Smarties ice cream. So as you know, Smarties ice cream has 3 components. Smarties, ice cream, and the biscuit cone. All these 3 components contain milk. The question is, which kind of form of milk? So is it whey powder, or is it maybe skimmed milk powder, or is it protein powder? Similarly in software, so there are sometimes libraries in different versions, and you would like to know which kind of version. Or let's say you may be allergic, or you don't like to eat certain kind of milk. So again, you would like to know which kind of version is there, so that you can decide to use the component or not. But this problem is not so easy in software like in an ice cream label. So I would like to show it to you how this looks like, but I think everybody knows. So what you can see here, you can see different versions of the library, and I will show to you how we actually solved this problem. But before that, I would like to share with you who we are. So we are a team of 3. Emily, she has a background in international relations, and Thomas has a background in computer science, and I'm a designer. We all 3 of us come and have different backgrounds, and we bring great knowledge, and we have a lot of different methods to work together, but sometimes it can lead to misunderstanding, and yeah, sometimes we don't know which kind of language do we speak. Do we speak a different language? Sometimes. And because of our different backgrounds, so we combine critical thinking with design thinking. And this helps us actually to approach this very complex problem. And it helps us to come up with our solution. So our solution is focusing on how we actually solve the Smarties ice cream problem. So we highlight in our solution conflicts, and we provide on a transparency on dependencies. as you can see here, there are different versions, and this helps you to understand where are they present and where can you see them and which versions are there. And this one, it helps you to understand the full structure of the software. And here a side-by-side comparison, so from the original issue and how we solved it in a visual way. So this brings me to our approach. As I explained to you before already, these are very complex information, but I guess maybe not that much. And because of our different background, we approach this problem in different ways. So for example, Emily, she started in Excel, and she started coloring the same labels, libraries with the same colors, to really understand the problem and get the problem into very the details and understand the structure. So as Thomas, with his engineering background, he started applying a tool, like for example, a tool with JavaScript, and to understand it in a different way and really to analyze it. And here is another version of it. And I, as a designer, I start thinking about the user and where shall we show actually this information, and where should we put the labels, and yeah, so like all about the user basically. And from this point on, we start iterating, and we set up some criteria how the end result should look like. So for example, for us it was very important that the user only gets information who's very relevant, and secondly, that it has very visual, very appealing and with good user experience. And the third point was that we bring very good and relevant information. So we started iterating, and we came up with this solution where it's solving the very tense labeling. And so we start putting the labels on the right side, but for us, we thought like this is really not working because you cannot read and you can still not see the right information. Then we start putting the labels on the bottom, and again we thought like the labels is still, they're not readable, so because they're in an angle, let's try something else. And I thought like, okay, you know what, we just give it away. But of course, yeah, with our team we're not agreeing on that, it's not the solution. And then we came up with this one, who is actually solving the very complex labeling. And so we're not showing all the information at the same place, and we're using the interface, also the graphical interface. So the user can actually see all the different patterns and all the information when he's clicking on it. And this, again, is our end result. So it's like a sunburst with different versions. On the right-hand side, on the top, you see the library. Below are the different versions. And one more step below are the libraries where this library is part of. This brings me to my last part, is our learnings. I think the first two learnings are, maybe you have heard them quite often, but I think it's always different just to know them, and then once you really execute them, it's another topic. The first learning is when you get your thoughts on paper and you really check your criteria. Then you get clarity in your team, because when you're in a diverse team, because you don't speak a common language, so you have to talk about it, you have to create a common language. And sometimes when you explain something in words, it makes absolutely sense to you. When you start drawing, then you start clarifying it, and then you start, oh no, that's not the right point, you know, that's what I don't meant that way. So you start iterating and talking about it again. So it gets clearer and clearer. This actually brings me to my second point. We found that's very important, that it's prototyping. Because when you start prototyping, you start asking questions also about the data. Like, where is the data coming from? Which kind of data we want to use? How do we get it? And then at the end you have to verify it as well. This was for us a very important point. And the third one, really, I found this, we don't hear that often, but for us it was very important to set up clear criteria up front. It helped us to filter our ideas and to move on, and also helped us to come up with a common vocabulary. And because you come from different backgrounds, then you sometimes you think you're saying the same thing, but you really don't say the same thing. So, in conclusion, our team of a writer, an engineer, and a designer working together, I think we arrived at a very unique place with our solution. But sometimes when you work together, you don't speak a common language. It's it's not efficient, and sometimes you don't move forward. And here we learned just going into the bar, getting a drink, and talking about the criteria helps to move forward. Thank you.